Hello and good morning on location. Uh, Saturday morning comics this weekend. Those of you who have been following my channel for a number of years know that there's an annual event in my family that usually includes an unusual episode of the Saturday morning comics show, and this would be that one. Usually in the fall somewhere, my brothers and I and my dad get together for a getaway weekend, and depending on where we go, usually somewhere in the Palm Desert, Palm Springs area, we get together, go see some movies, or play some golf, or go out to some restaurants, and just sort of hang out and get into some shenanigans. So that's what's happening this weekend. There are no daughters around, no no ladies in general. Just me, my brothers, and then my dad sitting over there on the couch, relaxing, and some time to read and some time to catch up on comic books. I was hoping to be outside for this because I think the light and the echo in here might be a bit much, but hopefully it's not too bad. But let's say hello to some friends in the chat. There's some really good people hanging out in the chat in here. We started with Jason, the Southern Comic Geek. What's going on, Jason? How are things in your neck of the woods? We got Krista. What's going on, Krista? I hope you're having a good Saturday. We got the Legion of Comics, Mark, in the chat. Mark has been slaying lately. I mean, his Instagram, his YouTube, he's been doing some really great stuff. So if you somehow bizarrely missed out on Mark's channel, please go subscribe. Worth the time. This looks like a post-divorce. It's all about the mustache. My wife's done with it. She's just done with the whole thing. No more mustache. Got the backseat driver in the chat. What is going on, sir? Good to see you. I was looking over because I got my reading short box here, and some of stickers I got from this gentleman are on that short box. So makes me think of you every time. Bring my reading box. Krista says it's like 20 degrees at this hour. It is cold. Usually when we do this, my dad used to have a place in Palm Desert, and I would use the patio so that I wouldn't wake my brothers up, because my younger brother sleeps late, like late. My older brother's probably awake and on his phone. My dad and I are the early risers. And there he is. He's right there. He's also right over there. So yeah, it's cold, but I feel like it's usually kind of nice out there, and the lighting is really nice, and you don't have any echo, and it's just kind of, what are you gonna do? We got Los's Comic Journey. What is going on, Los? Good to see you, sir. Hope you're doing well. And let's see, we got Circumstance now. Okay, this guy's hilarious. You guys need to be following Circumstances. His Instagram is a riot, and I like all of his videos over on Instagram. He and I see eye to eye on a ton of things, and it's hilarious. The comedy coming out of this guy, hilarious. What is up, Kenneth Bird? Good to see you this morning, Kenneth Bird. I hope Kenneth is having a good Saturday too. Inside, outside, we don't care. Here for the light, the excited light. So when you go to Mark's channel right now, lately, it's been a ton of current DC love, and I'm with him on that. There's a lot of great stuff coming out of DC right now. Lately, I've been going back in time. I've been reading older Marvel runs that I had missed out on. Runs in general, but specifically the last month, I've been reading a ton of Marvel early 2000s, mid 2000s, stuff that I had missed because I wasn't collecting at that time, stuff that I heard was great. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some things I've been reading, a little bit older, not like brand new stuff. Thunder House, what's going on? It's been a while. It's good to see you, man. It's good to see you. So among those things, I read as a kid, I started reading in comics in like the 80s, and I read off and on through the mid 90s. And then I took a big break, and I kind of got back into it at like around the year 2000, and started reading Vertigo. And then I dropped off of Marvel and DC again, and I was just reading Vertigo for a while. And I got back into it after my daughters were born. And that gap in the middle there. I always hear about great stories, great series, great books in that time frame that I totally missed. And among those were like Legion is mentioning those early 2000s, like Ultimate Spider-Man. I read the entire, well, I wouldn't say, I think about half of Ultimate Spider-Man at this point by Bendis. Amazing. And those are the kinds of things that I think are kind of fun in our hobby, is there's always stuff to read that you may have missed out on. It looks like my older brother's awake with some amazing hair this morning.
I'm camera ready.
It's so good. Sorry.
Don't block it.
There it is. There it is. That's my older brother, Bob. Good stuff. So yeah, a lot of that stuff I'm kind of catching up on. And I think it's kind of fun in our hobby to be able to like find those kind of books that you just haven't had a chance to read before.
It's not a hobby, it's a passion.
There you go. See? My wife is out of town this weekend, so he's chilling at home with the kids. See, you're doing the opposite of me, Los. See, my wife's chilling at home with the kids right now. And so Chaos, I have now collected the entire Age of Apocalypse and all the complete volumes, and I've been reading through a ton of those. And yeah, very good. Donnie is here. What's up, Mastodon? Good to see you.
I'm having a nut bar.
Classy. Love it. Bob clearly has werewolf blood. So among the things that I've been reading, I wanted to highlight, and I know Chaos is a fan, and we were talking a little bit about this series, and I didn't bring the trades with me because I didn't have enough room. I already finished it, but I read the entire Uncanny X-Force by Rick Remender. Rick Remender, until recently, is really a writer that I have not read any of his stuff. And then I found a couple of his indies, like Deadly Class. I've started reading Deadly Class. And what is it? The Righteous Thirst for Vengeance. I read that series. He's such a good writer that I had to go back and read some of his stuff. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about Uncanny X-Force if people haven't read it, because it's just really a solid read. First up, I have to admit, this is a team of characters that turned me off. Like, I didn't want to read this because I don't care for Psylocke a whole bunch. I don't like Deadpool a whole bunch. I don't like Angel a whole bunch. I don't know who this Phantom X guy is. Let's see. He's the guy on this side right here who kind of looks like Deadpool, but he's not Deadpool. And then Wolverine, I enjoy in small doses. So this team was the big turnoff for me. Like, I was not interested in this team. And I'm glad that I got over that, because this is easily the best Psylocke, the best Deadpool, the best Angel stuff. Like, those characters are used really, really well. So let's see here. Chaos says, I haven't finished it, but been reading it for 2 years. There you go. It's only like 30 something issues. Like, it's not that much. It's like 35 issues or something. Chaos is usually a man of eloquent bad taste. There you go. So yeah, Phantom X is a character that I had never heard of, because again, another run I had missed was Grant Morrison's run, and I hear it's amazing, but it's out of print. There's no hardcovers, there's no omnis. Hopefully they're going to go back to reprinting them at some point here, but I've never read any of it. So I missed out on all of that. I struggle with Deadpool, Biggie. Like, I like him in small doses like Wolverine. I don't necessarily like him in a full series. Like, it gets old for me. So what I liked here was getting to know Phantom X for the first time, and then seeing this team dynamic. And then the coolest part about it was this storyline, the Dark Angel storyline. It's all rooted in the Age of Apocalypse stuff that I had already finished reading, and was kind of, and those really great, like, early X Factor issues where Angel loses his wings and all that stuff with Apocalypse. I love all that stuff. So it was kind of a fun way to get into that. So yeah, it's on Unlimited. That's the only place I can read it. I'm just waiting for a hardcover or something, because I really want to read it. Let's see. Not a biggest fan of the art. And so that's a great comment, Donnie. The art on Uncanny X-Force shifts pretty dramatically. It starts with Esad Ribic, who's amazing, but then it goes through a couple other people like Opeña, and I will say the art is inconsistent. And that is a frustration, but I never felt like it was bad. I felt like it was not as good as Esad Ribic, but it was definitely like going through it. My man, now we're talking. My hope is that they just republish the omnibus at some point. And I thought I had heard a rumor that the omnibus was going to be printed again, because that's what I really want to read. I'm willing to drop the money based on what everybody is saying. I mean, I get it. New Mutants went through several eras of art, and the early stuff was a little more like classic 80s comic book. And then, of course, you get Bill Sienkiewicz stuff, which is really amazing. And then you get into Rob Liefeld, and it's like, ooh, what happened? I can understand that. It's trouble. So anyways, I just want to highlight that this Uncanny X-Force run is highly entertaining. They do a great job with Angel, a character that I never really liked. I mean, I could enjoy him as like a background character, but he's really used well as like a front-loaded character here. Phantom X was cool to get to know him because I'd never heard of him before. And like I said, Deadpool is used sparingly, and Wolverine used really well. So if you haven't tried that run, might be worth trying out. We got my man Kirk in the chat. What is going on? Comics on the mind. Let's see here. Cap has to make selfish choices. I mean, he's kind of like Cyclops that way, right? I mean, kind of. Let's see here. Let's see. Who else did I miss? The art on Morrison's run is really up and down. It's the biggest downer on it. Igor Korgi are rough. Okay. And I think that's kind of one of the issues with Marvel. When those writers are on a run for a long time, is they have to like cycle artists because they can't have the same person sustaining that pace on the art side. It's really challenging, I think. But that's what I've noticed. What's up, Bronze Page? Yeah, so Deathlock, this is a great point. Deathlock appears in the Uncanny run a lot too, and they use him really well. It was just a great example of how following characters is not a really great way to read comics. Sometimes, usually following talented people like a writer or an artist tends to be more enjoyable because they can elevate a bad character, It is a very violent comic. That's a great point. Uncanny X-Force is very violent because the whole focus is the idea that Psylocke and Angel are kind of team leading, and Warren Worthington Angel is like funding Black Ops. And it's the idea that this whole team is made up of killers, just stone cold killers. And they're paying Phantom X and Deadpool money to be on the team and wipe out threats that Cyclops and Professor X don't need to know anything about. So it's a very much like Black Ops kind of thing inside of the X-Men universe. So yeah, super cold-blooded. In fact, one of the early stories has to do with the possibility of Apocalypse as a young boy. And can we kill, it's like that idea of like, can you kill Hitler when he was a young boy? Being able to kill Apocalypse as a young boy is like a big plot line in Uncanny X-Force. So yes, Los is spot on there. What is up, Ignacio? What is going on this morning, man? How you doing? And hello to Carrie. What's going on? The officially unofficial geek. I'm wearing my geek aficionado shirt that I unboxed last time. Perfect fit. It's working. Angel didn't learn his lesson with Cameron Hodge. I mean, it's a good point. In fact, they really do a great job in the Dark Angel storyline, which is the like centerpiece of Remender's run, making Angel the bad guy. And it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool the way they make Angel the bad guy. And then he is reborn again, which leads into the other series that I'm working on as well. I had never read Wolverine and the X-Men by Jason Aaron and Chris Bacalo, although I guess a few different, like we were saying, a few different artists work on it. I got Molina and Mike Allred and Bradshaw. A few different artists worked on this run. And it's another one that I missed because it was happening at the exact same time. The idea was Wolverine in the middle of Uncanny X-Force or towards the end, he restarts the school for mutants and takes over because Cyclops and Professor X are into some crazy stuff. But it's a totally different tone X-Men book, and they were basically happening at the same time. They overlap a little. You get to see Angel transform because they really do a big change of his character towards the end of the X-Force run. And then he is a big part of this run, the Wolverine and the X-Men. You get Deathlock. So a lot of the same characters and plot lines kind of overlap between the two. But for me, what's hilarious is the tone difference, because this is clearly designed to be a comedy. Like it's designed for silliness. It's not designed for laughs. It's designed to be over the top. But X-Force was designed to be dark and violent and edgy and different. So I think it's a funny dichotomy that I think was happening at the same time. And depending on how you like your X-Men, you might prefer one or the other. But I think they're really funny. This series in particular is very funny. I just finished these 2 volumes, which are obviously the Avengers versus X-Men tie-in stories. But really, it's more about what's going on at the school during the big Avengers versus X-Men event, because Wolverine's the headmaster and he's working as an Avenger and an X-Men at this time. So he's kind of got a foot in each pond in the storyline. There's some good comments here about silliness in comics. Let's see here. Wolverine and Deadpool have a great chemistry. I do agree. And hopefully they can translate that to the film when they get around to having those two together and on screen. Your IG, the same as your YouTube handle. It is Comics on the Mind. If you search MYND, you'll get him. The most fun comic with that trope is the Cosmic Ghost Rider, who's clearly a comedic character, but has some very heavy roots, for sure. And I think he is a lot of fun. I think the Cosmic Ghost Rider is a lot of fun. I hear they're bringing him back for something here soon. I like him. I like him too. I think he's fun. That original Donny Cates Thanos run was just a banger. That's a great read. The Aaron one was a lot of fun, sort of petered out eventually, but first dozen or so issues are great. So I have this is the first 18. Yeah, the first 18 issues that I have read. And I know there are 3 or 4 more trades. So I'm about halfway through the trade paperbacks. I will probably need to buy the other 4 at some point or read them digitally at some point. But I've been really enjoying catching up on all that, what was going on at that time. Cosmic Ghost Rider was great in both runs. And I've read both, and I do like how his solo run launched Silver Surfer Black, which I really, really loved as well. Yeah, it's Punisher. He's Thanos' little Punisher, Cosmic Ghost Rider, right? Killing baby Thanos, but adopting him, right? It's very funny. It's dumb, but that's part of it, right? It's like, how do you like your comics? Dark and heavy all the time, light and silly, or just can you appreciate both and enjoy both, right? A Wolverine series, it's a comedy. So yeah, the idea is the first volume, and you might really enjoy that, Carrie, is that Wolverine becomes the headmaster of the X-Men Academy, right? And it's he and Kitty Pryde, and they're running the school. And the first 4 issues are basically just about day one and all the crap that goes wrong. There's a new Hellfire Club, and the young guy who's running the Hellfire Club is viewing it as a competition, and the grounds of the Xavier Academy are now alive. It's like a Krakoa offshoot. It's like Krakoa baby, and it's so the lawn will have a face, and the walls will have arms, and it's the grounds of the school are a living mutant. Toad, the former villain, is the janitor of the school, and he's hilarious. He's great. There's a whole crew of kids that we're getting to meet, like Quentin Quire, and then there's teachers like Husk, and Beast is trying to do all the technology to get the school working. He's hilarious. They use him really well. So it's a very silly comic, especially the first, I would say, 2 trades are really light and funny. And that Chris Bachalo art, I think he's done most of this volume. No, he's done more. Was it this one? His style of artwork is very silly. You know, it's very cartoony. I don't know if I can find any of his stuff in here. Yeah, I didn't bring the first trade where he did most of the artwork in the first trade. But his art is far more like goofy looking. He's the colorist on this one. Yeah, he didn't do any of these issues. But the first trade, he did like all that and really, really silly. Going back and reading stories that you missed, it's what's so great about it. Yeah, right? I think there's always something cool that we missed, right? That we can go back and read. Is there any chance X-Men's Angel is connected to Angel from the Golden Age? I will say there's a story arc in this Wolverine and the X-Men where Angel has reverted to his old look, like the long blonde hair and the beautiful white wings, and he both genuinely believes he's sent from heaven. So he's like out in the world doing good deeds, and he's got some unusual adjustments to what his powers are, and he tries to like fly off to heaven and stuff. Like he's a very unstable character, but very funny and different and entertaining. What else could go wrong is exactly the theme of the first like two trades. It's very much about like how hard it is to run a school and all the things that Wolverine didn't realize, and how at this point in X-Men, like Jean Grey has died and Wolverine feels honor bound to like do this in her memory or in her name. Yeah, and Brew, B-R-O-O, is a little brood child, and he's like the best student at the school. He's incredibly eloquent and intelligent and really a cool, fun kid in that comic. Really well done. So absolutely one of the funnier, more interesting students. And there's like Kid Guardian or Kid Gladiator. Sorry, Gladiator is a little guy with a mohawk, and he's from the Shi'ar galaxy. Very silly. Right. We're entering the like Sons of Anarchy phase where the beard is in there, but the mustache is still there. And yeah, it's and I got what looks like a trucker hat, but it's actually a Mission 22 and the Till Valhalla project guys. I got my wristbands and my hat from them. Donnie says, this is off topic, but my wife is watching the Harry Potter movies again. I swear I don't know why we have other streaming services. I think that's like, it's kind of like comfort food, right? Every once in a while you go back to the well, enjoy it again. Got some awesome new people in the chat. We got Roscoe. So Roscoe, Kate is still trying to decide where to hang that artwork that we won that you made from C3, but she is in love with it. It's awesome. So I'll send you a picture when we get it hung. What is up, Rob Boswell's in the chat? Yep, Stady. I'm working for the Stadies. Yeah. At some point here soon, I'm just gonna trim this bad boy way up and kind of like even it out. But I haven't gone that route yet. It's still too early in that process. Yeah, Kid Gladiator is funny. Like he's a cool character too, and I like Quentin Quire. And I know some people really don't because he's so overpowered. But I've always really enjoyed the way they use him in like the current Krakoa era, and then this series. I think they use him really well. This is him right there. There's Quentin, an incredibly powerful telepath. Kid Omega is what they call him, and he's a student at the school. Yeah, I bid on and won a piece of Roscoe's art just for Kate because it was a Stranger Things themed art piece of Eddie Munson. Really great. What is up, Ben Compton? Good morning to you guys. I hope everybody's doing all right. So yeah, that's what I've been trying to catch up on. I got a few others that are in the queue here that I was going to show you, and clearly this is the right chat because people know these series and they know them well. This is a series I missed, and I love Jeff Lemire, and I've been enjoying Humberto Ramos's work on the Strange Academy series. So when I saw they both did a series of X-Men books, and look at the cast on the cover here, I was all in on this. Let me go right here. So we got Storm, we got Magic, we got Old Man Logan, we got looks like Rachel, Jean Grey's daughter, we got Nightcrawler, we got Colossus. Like what a cast! This is the Extraordinary X-Men, which I have not read. I'm going to open it up here and check the date on this. I think it's Rachel. Maybe it's Hope. Maybe it's Jean Grey's daughter, Hope. That might be Hope and not Rachel. Yeah, so there we go. A little easier to see. This is the cover A. Yeah, for issue 1. Let me see what year this was. 2016. So this was a little bit after the stuff I was just sharing. But I've never read this, Jeff Lemire's run. And my LCS was selling a whole set of these for really dirt cheap, way less than cover price. So I snagged a whole slew of them. So this is issue 1. I got issue 2, issue 3. There's Logan. I like the people, and there's like people in the flames that are hard to see, but there's like characters in the fire all the way around. Issue 4 looks like some Mr. Sinister, maybe. I don't know what's going on there. Issue 5. Ooh, issue 5. Issue 6. Again, Humberto Ramos and Jeff Lemire. It's hard to go wrong there. Issue 7. And somehow I did not get 8, but I have 9. At some point I had gotten issue 9. And again, there's some Age of Apocalypse stuff going on here. This looks like the X-Men Apocalypse Wars. It's obviously we're in Egypt with the temples or the pyramids in the background. So that's a whole run that I'm going to get to at some point. I got those issues that I got to dive into. So if anybody's read those and really likes them, I'd love to know. Yeah, Roscoe was slaying it last night on the hunt. I was really enjoying it. I couldn't stay for the whole thing, but I was in and out of the chat for them last night. So if you missed on Tony Sanders' channel, Roscoe and Biggie and several of the people in the chat were playing on the hunt last night and slaying. Looks like Los hasn't read that one either. There you go. We got Borinkin Comics, que onda? He says, Sheriff John, how are you? I mean, I'm doing all right. Next up, this is a Mark Millar, John Romita Jr. Now, I know that not everybody loves John Romita Jr., but I have never read Enemy of the State, Wolverine's Enemy of the State. And my LCS was selling this trade of, let's see, it looks like 13 issues. This is a big boy, big trade. So it's the whole issues 20 through 32 of Wolverine, and Mark Millar and John Romita Jr. were the main 2 on this series. But I heard some good things about this. The artwork looks really kind of classically Romita. Looks like I see some Elektra in there. I don't know what's going on. So I'm very curious about Enemy of the State. I haven't read it. That is on my reading pile. So more X-Mutant related stuff that I somehow missed out on. So you're talking about the Lemire run. So if you get to it and I get to it, then we're good, right? That's all it needs. That's all we need. And then last on the list, and I don't even know who the creative team was on this, Fabian Nicisa and Riley Brown, with a little Ron Lim as well. This is the Deadpool versus the Marvel Universe 1, Volume 1. And I got this as a giveaway gift from a man, the Geek Aficionado, and I've never read it. It looks like Deadpool silliness, which is hit or miss with me, but I've never read that, so I thought I would give that a shot as well. Some funniness on the back cover as well. Boom, 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 boom. So that's my pile of mutant related goodness there. I'm working through it this weekend, little by little. Let's go back. Who did I miss here? Yep, Kirk's been super busy. Every once in a while I catch him on a live stream, but I know he's been a busy guy. And I don't know how many issues Lemire's run lasted. I want to say it was a pretty short run, like 24 or something like that. So I'm almost halfway done with collecting them all. Donnie's asking about some hardcovers because I posted on Instagram yesterday that I've been buying a lot of the, I don't know that I have one here, sadly, but I've been buying a lot of the hardcovers for Image that they've been releasing lately. So I've got a new Gideon Falls one. I got the whole Die 20 issue volume, and then most recently the first Philadelphia volume. There are currently 4 trade paperbacks available, and they've started doing them in hardcover format as well. And I want to say the hardcovers are 2 trades. I don't think it's 3. I think it's 2 trades in a hardcover, but I'll have to double check. Plus all the little extras and stuff they put in. I feel like the hardcovers are the way to go, but that's me. I just love the art. I think the price point is low enough that I think it makes sense. They're not so large and heavy like an omnibus that they're unwieldy, but they're also slightly oversized. So they're not as tall as a trade. They're slightly bigger all the way around. So the artwork gets a little blown up as well. And for somebody like Jason Sean Alexander, the artist of Philadelphia, it kind of looks pretty dope that way. So I've been enjoying buying those hardcovers. If there's an Image series that you like, I think it's the way to go. And it seems to be Images slowly churning them out in addition to the floppy trades that you can get. Let's see here. Biggie says, I picked up the 2 first appearances of Ambush, Bug, and Eclipse 1. Nice, with the gem. How do you store that, Biggie? I got to know, because that book has, if it's the one I'm thinking of, it's got like a little plastic a piece attached to the cover. But my worry is that it would push against another book and create an indentation on other books, even if you had like a backing board. I don't know. I'm curious how you're going to store those. They always seem tricky to me, how that works. Tacoma says, what is going on? This is not my house. No, I'm on a little getaway weekend with my brothers and my dad. My dad, who's still sitting right over there. Where is he? There he is. There's my dad. My brothers are in that room way in the corner. So we're doing a little getaway weekend. This happens every year. We usually spend one weekend getting away from the wives and kids and hanging out together. So this is the weekend for 2022. Let's see here. Who else am I missing? Gore Vidal. Good to see you. He says, I've been reading a comic strip set during the Spanish Civil War. He says it's moving and intense. In one story, someone is accused of being a communist and they shame her and shave her hair in public by the police. Very common, I guess, punishment for women in several countries at several different times. I know that happened to Nazi sympathizers during World War II and things like that. Very, very common. What's the series called? Let us know. Cole is in the chat. If you didn't know, I posted my video highlighting my favorite Wolverine fight covers. There's Wolvie as part of Cole and Bearded's comic cover challenge for this month. I just posted it yesterday. So if you missed out, if the notification bell didn't go off for you, definitely check it out if you haven't at some point. It's totally entertaining, I think, and some very great Wolverine covers. Some good stuff there. Gore says, Carlos Jimenez, the artist-writer, has spent his life writing about Franco and the aftermath of the Spanish Civil War. And it reminds you of Will Eisner. Oh, nice. Okay. My wife is not on that team. No team mustache. People are saying hi to Pop Pop.
Hello. Good morning.
I know that Old Wolf was hoping to get more book recommendations from my dad, because last time we sat down and my dad gave him, ended up making a bunch of videos and talking a lot about, let's see, 2 books. I think it was The Midnight Library, which was amazing. And my daughters have now read that one. And some of you have mentioned to me, you've read it. That's a novel that is dealing with the afterlife and possible choices that people could have made, and has really great messages. And then the other one was a Stephen King book, and the title is the character's name. I can't remember what it was. The one with the guy who's like the assassin, and I can't remember the name of the book. And I even made a short TikTok on it, and now it's blanking me. But the idea is my dad reads a ton. My dad is an avid reader and always has good stuff to recommend. And last time had some just some great ones. Billy Summers, there it is. This guy, Thunderhouse Design, is ready. So those are 2 of the books that my dad recommended last time, and I read both. They were bangers. It was great. Absolutely. 2 thumbs way up. Looks like a few people talking about it as well. So here we got Mastodon says he's working on his for tomorrow. And Donnie, if you look closely, is in my video. I put a few members of the community that I'd hung out with over the years, and I tried to clip a few people in at the beginning of the video. So might see some people you know. Roscoe says, I'm going to be doing the fight cover challenge too. There it is. Boom, making it happen. And if you go to Cole's channel, he has a playlist for all the videos as they're posted. So you can go and watch all the ones that have done. I know Travis TM Nerdy did one. So yeah, there you go. It's a lot of fun. And you just pull out 10 books from your collection that you love. It's a lot of fun. Oh, Carrie did hers. Oh, there you go. All Batman. So I got to get over and watch Carrie's now. See, there you go. Gore says that the series is 1936 to 1939, Malos Tiempos by Carlos Jimenez. Unfortunately, it hasn't been translated into English. His one work, only one of his works has, it's called Paracuellos, with an intro by Will Eisner. Okay. Cole says the audiobook from Midnight Library is great. It's just a really good read. And it sounds like Thunderhouse has read Billy Summer. I think that both of them are just absolutely really great reads. Definitely worth the time. Lo says, I can grow my mustache for 20 years and it still wouldn't be that glorious. You're starting to get used to it? There you go. My wife is not going to come around on this one. Nope. She thinks it's funny and she'll deal with it. But she was already last week going, hey, you're really sticking with it for a little while longer. Ready Fairy Tale by Stephen King is the one you're reading now. And that's a good one too, says Thunderhouse. So it's called Ready Fairy Tale. I have not read that one. So Cole asks, does Pop like Cormac McCarthy?
I've read several of his books, and I like it, but he's always a hard read because it's pretty violent and not real uplifting stories. But I've read quite a few of them.
Yeah, he's definitely a reader, so he's probably read at least something by almost every major author. And yeah, so I think Dad and I see eye to eye on Cormac a little bit, that it's just hard. It's hard to read and can be a little bit much. Let's see here. Almost sounds like a book I read years ago, Second Assassin. I don't know that book. Gore says he's reading Cormac's latest novel, Cole. Oh, sorry, not called Cole. His latest novel, Cole. You're talking to Cole. Sorry. My dad was talking about the last time he came to visit. He likes him. There you go. And Cole's read 4 or 5 of his books. Good for you. Gore, Bronze Page is saying, I see a lot of indie books on your Instagram. What comic stands out lately for you? So I follow writers a lot, and I've been talking about Rick Remender a lot. And coming up here in about a month, Alec and I are going to look back at our favorite reads of the year. But I know that for a fact that this Righteous Thirst for Vengeance is probably going to be high on my list. And it's a super fast read. You could probably read the whole comic in like an hour. And it's like 14 issues, I think, something like that. No, it might be a little more than that. It might be like 16. But it's great. It's incredibly violent. It's incredibly heavy and dark, but it's also got really great character moments and very unusual series. But I like that one a lot. I'm also enjoying Scotty Young as a writer. So like The Me You Love in the Dark from last year was a great one. And that's got a little more of a horror vibe to it. Philadelphia, I talk about a ton. That's just an amazing series. Most anything by Jeff Lemire. My favorite thing by Jeff Lemire is probably my favorite indie book too, which is called Descender. And it's like a science fiction robots in space kind of series. And that's a really great one too. We got Just a Freaking Rican. What is going on? Rod, it's good to see you in the chat, man. Let's see. Oh, sorry. The book is called Fairy Tale by Stephen King. Sorry. My bad. I hear I Hate Fairyland is very good. I heard some very funny things about that series. Handlebar Mustache with the wax. Oh my gosh. Do a Power Bomb. Anything by Oh my God, Daniel Warren Johnson. Sorry, anything by Daniel Warren Johnson is an amazing indie book. You're just gonna like it. And in fact, I have. Where is it? I have one of his newer series. Did I bring it? Thought I brought. Yeah, I had picked up Extremity by Daniel Warren Johnson, Volume 1. I have not been able to find Volume 2 yet, but I hear great things about this. Do a Powerbomb, Murder Falcon. That guy's just really doing great stuff. 11 issues. Okay. I really, really great. Yeah, Do a Powerbomb is really, really great. I have somebody asking it, what is Pop Pop's favorite genre of novel?
I actually don't have a favorite.
Oh, Jesus, that's my older brother again.
I just enjoy reading, so I try to vary my choices so that I have I don't stick to just one kind. I did just read a really good book called Lessons in Chemistry.
Lessons in Chemistry.
And it is it's if you have daughters, it takes place in the 50s and early 60s, and it's about what it was like to be a woman scientist in that era where women were not accepted in many job areas, but especially in the science area.
And you said it's a novel, right? It's not a true story.
It's a novel, and it's a story of this one woman and her daughter, and who marries a scientist, and then he dies, and she is discarded by the research facility that she's been working in because she's a woman. And she finds a way to create a successful life for herself. And her daughter is extremely intelligent, and they have a dog named 630. The dog was
The dog's name is a time of day.
Yes, it's the time of day that they found the dog, and they just named him that. And he's very intelligent. He ends up with a vocabulary of 981 words, which is very unusual for a dog. And so it's got humor, and but it really shows the state of women in the work industry back in that era, and it's better now, but it's still more challenging for women than it is for men
In that field of science.
in all fields.
Well, sure.
Women, most jobs, women make less than what a man makes in the same job.
What's the title again? One more time.
Lessons in Chemistry.
Lessons in Chemistry. So there you go, Carrie. She says, I'm a card-carrying feminist type, so this book sounds very interesting to me. What is up, No Good Comics? Justin's in the chat. Hello to you. Yeah, still Ted Lasso's hanging on just a little bit longer. I say that it's more Sons of Anarchy than anything these days. Gore Vidal mentioning Deadly Class, which has officially finished. I'm waiting for the final hardcover, and then I'm probably just going to power through. I've read the first large hardcover, and there's going to be 4 in the end. So I'm a quarter of the way through. What is up, Crystal from Glitter and Duct Tape? Hello to you. Everybody's saying hi to each other. Rod says, gotta run, spend time with wife and the mother-in-law. Totally get that. Totally get that. He's way better than me. My dad is the best read person I know. He's absolutely a phenomenally well-read person. And he's almost always reading 2 or 3 books at a time, because he's got his one he's reading on the iPad. He's got an actual novel he's reading. Sometimes there's another one by his bed that he's reading. He's often involved in several books simultaneously. I struggle with that. I usually have a novel and then a comic that I'm reading simultaneously. I can handle prose and a graphic novel simultaneously, but I can't handle more than one book simultaneously. Too much for me. So that is mostly it. I got a giant box of trades here that I'm going to try to tinker through over the next couple of days. The boys and I are possibly going to go see a movie today. Not sure what it's going to be. And then they wanted to really get into the football game tonight between UCLA and USC, the SoCal college football rivalry. And I know that that's always been big in my house as a kid. So we got to tune in for that this evening. I know Justin's very excited for that. I'm not going to go see the new Top Gun movie. I'm not going to go see that.
We're going to see the.
I don't know that we've.
Black Panther movie.
Okay, sounds like maybe Black Panther is the one we're going to go see. I am 213th in line for the book Lessons in Chemistry, says Cole on his digital reading app. There you go. He's got a little wait. Glitter says she's reading 2 or 3 books at a time as well. Yeah, use that local library, right? Use that local library. John, I have a writer you might enjoy. His name is David Wong, and he works with Jason Pargan. Wong was a former pen name. Check out John Dies at the End. They made a movie out of this, right? I think they made a movie. One of the only books I ever saw that made me belly laugh out loud. That sounds phenomenal. I mean, I don't necessarily love the title, but I'll definitely look for that. And I like weird sci-fi and social comedy. It's all up my alley there. So yeah, we are big UCLA fans. My sister went to UCLA, and my dad is an epic John Wooden fan and has an autographed basketball by John. And I really, my wife worked for a company that invested in other companies, invested in Schutt, which is the football helmet company. So he has a UCLA football helmet, official football helmet. So yeah, we are a UCLA family. I have some family that went to USC. We just don't talk about them. Let's see. We've also got Biggie Shack saying John Sr. is number 1. I'm not Ralphie Jr. Nobody can stand up to Pop. Okay, so somebody else seconding writer Jason Pargan. There you go. Let's see. Some books, the Zoe books. I'll have to look for those. This is true, Biggie. That's my claim to fame. That's what I got, at least. Justin saw the menu last night, so over the top that he loved it. There you go. Yes, Hoopla. I actually got my dad onto Hoopla, a really great free reading app that you can use your library. You just need to know your library card and your PIN to get into your library, and then you'd be able to hook up the Hoopla app and download things for reading. Really great. They're both joining the Big Ten soon, says Cole. Is that true, Dad?
Well, they're trying to. The Board of Regents for the University of California has final say over UCLA.
Okay, so they're lobbying to get into the Big Ten.
Well, they've made the move, but there's a resistance against the UCLA move.
Nobody likes change.
What was the name of that author? Jason
Pargan, Pargin. So there you go. My dad's already looking him up. See, my dad's already looking him up. I mean, yeah, he's got the John Wooden signature, and I've got a giant size X-Men. It's all fair, right? It's all fair. The Zoe books. Zoe punches the future in the dick. That's hilarious. So Hoopla has, yeah, like you were saying, volume 2 on it. But I'm just gonna buy it. You know me. I'm just gonna buy it. Yes, Mark Harmon played quarterback at UCLA, and he led the biggest comeback win over SC in school history. See, Donnie knows his college football. He knows his college football. Zoe's cat in the Zoe book. There you go. All right. Everybody's aware, see, of this writer except me. So now I got to get into it. Apparently my dad does too.
I'm going for it right now.
All right, folks, I'm going to say goodbye. We're going to get on with our day and hope you get on with yours. Thanks for hanging out for X-Men and Pop time. He even gave us a recommendation. So now we all have a book that we can go and check out. My brothers are just giggling back in the room there and, not doing much of anything useful. I hope everybody has a great, great weekend. And hopefully we'll be back to normal next weekend because soccer season is pretty much done. So we kind of have our Saturdays back. We'll hope to have all the girls and I together next Saturday. Thanksgiving weekend. Have a great Thanksgiving week. Justin and I are still doing our show Tuesday, and he is hosting Omni X-Men on Tuesday. Tomorrow night I'm on for D&D on JP's channel. So little things coming up this week, but the holiday is going to take precedent over most things. So Have a great holiday weekend, and we'll see you guys back here again hopefully soon. Bye, gang. Where's the one I like? This one.